everyone, welcome back to yet another 24-hour readathon. So in the beginning of the year, I made a goal that I want to focus a little bit more on my reading, and I want to set aside a time where I can do all the hobbies that I like, which pretty much just reading and reading journal. So I have been doing a 24-hour readathon so far this year, like how many times? 3 times. And now we are on our 4th time. And I have been doing the timer method where I be like counting all the times I'm reading period for 24 hours. And I have like a timer going on, but I think this time we're gonna do a true 24-hour readathon, as in time-wise. I'm super excited, especially because I will try my best to finish an entire series. Honestly, I don't think it's manageable to finish 5 books in the span of 24 hours, but I think the first trilogy I might be able to. So the books I'm gonna try and read is the Hunger Games series. I've never read it before. I think I've watched the first book, or like the first movie, like the Hunger Games. I'm not sure if I remember anything. All I remember is that it was Katniss. Katniss is Jennifer Lawrence, and Peeta, I don't remember who Peeta was. I can picture him in my head, but whether I know the actor's name, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna try and read this book today. Right now it is currently early morning, so I do have a lot of time. What I'm gonna do, oh gosh, this book keeps falling. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna read 12 hours today and then 12 hours tomorrow, instead of doing like a 24-hour thing. Right now it's 8 a.m. So my goal is to finish by 8, but since it is not a timer method, I'm just gonna read and not just gonna like count it, if you know what I mean. So I am excited to just have a good time reading this series. I think my goal though for 8 hours, these books are quite short, so I am excited. My goal for today is maybe, I don't know if it's doable to finish 2. I think in total this might be 800 pages. Does that make sense? I feel like no. For 12 hours? Maybe. I'd say maybe. But this would be my goal. If I go a little bit over, it's fine. But I will try my best not to go under, obviously. Since there's no timer, you just have to trust me. And then tomorrow, my goal is, I'm not sure, we shall see. But honestly, these hardcover, like smaller hardcover, I just find it so satisfying that I have all 5 in the correct version. Because I have had too many books in my bookshelves that either I am following them as they come out and then they don't have the same style. But I'm gonna start before it goes on a little bit too late. I think maybe I'm gonna start at 9. Right now it's still too early. Whether I have a lot of idea what this is about, not really, but I'm really hoping in the span of 24 hours, if we are close to finishing Sunrise and the Reaping, like towards the end of the 24 hours, then I'm just gonna extend it and say I did it in a readathon. But I have a good feeling that I can finish this in 24 hours. If not, at least I finished the first trilogy, and then I'm just gonna take you guys along for the other 2 books, because obviously we want a fully complete review on the series. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one. Anyway, very excited to read this. Let's go ahead and start The Hunger Games. I just finished The Hunger Games. I don't know exactly how long it took me, but this book definitely reads quite fast. I can tell you this, if I were to read this whenever I was young, like 14, 15, I would have been so obsessed with this series, and I understand now why so many people are obsessed with it. But honestly, for like a YA dystopian, it is quite brutal, and it is quite crazy how things are panning out and how brutal the Hunger Games was. Like, I feel like even before we go to the Hunger Games, it was already very brutal, especially for what's her name? Especially for Katniss, because of how just bad District 12 was. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I should like recap or if I need to tell you what it's about, because at this point this book is very well known already, but I can tell you like a slight summary of it. We are following our main character, Katniss Everdeen. She lives in the Seam, which is like quite a bad part of this area, and she lives in District 12, which is a mining district. So it started off with her family being, I wouldn't say fine, but it was like okay. And then the dad died from this mining accident, or mining, yeah, I guess coal mining accident. So she, at the ripe age of 12, she needed to support her family because her mother fell into depression and could not support the family. So she, as the 12-year-old girl, she needs to find food first of all because they do not have money. And then so she started going to this forest, which is actually not allowed. It's like illegal to go there. There's like this fence that is like bordering it, I guess, but she always goes there to find some kind of food, like animal to hunt. Fast forward to age 17. There's this annual thing called the Hunger Games, right? And then everybody was like summoned to the like center of the district, I guess, and then people from the capital will choose two people, one female and one male, to enter this competition, the Hunger Games competition. There will be like cameras everywhere. It will be like a proper game kind of thing. Instead of her being chosen, it's actually her sister who got chosen, and she is obviously, no, do not take my little sister. I will go in behalf of her. So she is the female for this, the chosen female for the Hunger Games. And there's also Peeta Mellark. I don't know exactly how to say his name. And he had like this connection, I guess, with Katniss, because whenever she was 12 and she could not find any food for her family that day, she was about to give up on her life. She went to the baker, which is, Peeta is the baker's son. She went to the baker's, like, bakery's trash, tried to dig out some food, but she could not. And then Peeta, saving her by accidentally like burning the bread so that he can help and give her the food she needed. And so like indirectly, directly, he saved her life. And obviously she has been aware of him, but like on and off kind of thing. And in preparation of the Hunger Games, like previous victor of the Hunger Games will coach you through what you need to do, what things you need to worry about, so on and so forth. And his name is Haymitch. So Haymitch has been training them, preparing them for the Hunger Games, and a lot of things happen in those bit, but let's just move forward to the actual Hunger Games. It was so brutal, but the whole time Katniss was like, oh, I really don't want to kill Peeta because he's like the boy that helped me whenever she almost died and almost gave up on her life. And there's a different complication because in the preparation or in the interview before the Hunger Games starts, Peeta confessed her love for Katniss. And the Game Changers, which is like, I guess, like people that are directly in charge of the games and they can change like the tides of the game, so on and so forth, they really liked this. They really liked that Peeta loved her, or Peeta had a crush on her for a while. So in the Hunger Games itself, Peeta has been like doing his absolute best to make sure that Katniss win, because of the goodness of his own heart, I guess, because he had a crush on her. Meanwhile, Katniss is just confused because everything that he does, she second guesses, which is very understandable. If you are in the Hunger Games, I feel like you'd feel the same way. I'd feel the same way. I would probably second guess anything. And then towards the end, not towards the end, I think like maybe middle of the game, the Game Changers told like the participants of the Hunger Games, which is like 2 of each district, by the way. There's 12 total. 13th district like fell a long time ago, so there's 12 in total. There's 24. I think like 12 people died. Okay, I'm explaining this really bad, but in order to win the Hunger Games, you need to be the last one standing at some point in the game. The game changers decide that if you are from the same district and both of you can win at like the last one standing, both of you will be spared to live. Which obviously, this whole time she's been going back and forth. It's like, oh, do I like Peeta? Is Peeta like betraying me? This, so on and so forth. With this news, she instantly looked and found Peeta. And Peeta was very injured. She took care of him. And obviously the viewers of the Hunger Games, the Capitol, the Game Changers, they're all raving about this love story between them, because although I think Katniss was semi-faking it, although I think she's like developing some feelings, but Peeta was definitely already like in love with her. Anyway, and yeah, I don't know how spoiler filled I want to make this vlog, but pretty much Peeta found out that it's one-sided, and then obviously he's angry. But he's more like he's giving up, which is so sad to read. But yeah, that's pretty much The Hunger Games, the first book. I summarized it for you in less than 10 minutes. How do I feel towards this book? I like it. It's quite brutal. I love the writing style. It reads so fast. It's like definitely YA. I'm so excited to see where the second book will take us. Wait, where's my bookmark? I lost it. I am super excited with this. I'm not sure what it's about. Besides, I read 18? No, I read 10 pages so far. And I think there has been like 6-month break in between. So we shall see what's going to happen. Now there's like a tour, a victory tour if I'm not wrong. And so all these 6 months, from what I know, from the context that I've read in the past 10 pages, is that she hasn't had any contact with Peeta, and her relationship with Gale, which is her best friend before the Hunger Games, that also I think had a crush on her, their relationship is very like broken because of what happened, because obviously she kissed Peeta in front of national television, and now she needs to go back into the victory tour and act as if she is in love with Peeta all over again. So I am excited to read this. I hope I will get to finish this book today. It's not quite late yet, so I think I do have time to read this. I will probably update you tomorrow morning though on what I feel about this, or maybe I'll update you tonight. Enough rambling. I feel like I just word vomited at you, but that's what I thought of the Hunger Games. I am excited to read The Catching Fire, so let's go ahead and start The Catching Fire. Good morning, everyone. I am here to announce that yesterday I definitely did way over 12 hours, I'd say. Honestly, I probably should have kept the time better, but I did not. So yeah, I slept so late last night trying to finish this book. Was it worth? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, guys. I am so angry that I did not get into the Hunger Games until now. It is so amazing. The twists and turns that we are experiencing in this book. By the way, right now it's currently 7 a.m. so it's still early. I'm not gonna start my 24-hour readathon or like my 12 hours much later. I think like around 9 or 10, I think, and then we can start. But oh my gosh, I'm just so tired from sleeping so late last night. But what can I even tell you about this? I think I'm just gonna talk about what happened here and then say about what I feel. So pretty much in this book, what happened is that we finished, like I said, whenever I finished the Hunger Games, that there's a 6 months wait, break? Was there a 6 month break? I think there was a 6 month break, and then now it's like the midway point before the 75th Hunger Games, which is called quarterly quell. I'm not sure. It's like an anniversary thing. There's a 25th one, there's a 50th one, and there's obviously a 75th one for the year after Peeta and Katniss won this. But we started off with President Snow coming to Katniss and saying like, hey, what you did at the end of the 74th Hunger Games was really close to being illegal, but he cannot kill her off because everybody will know, like everyone in the capital will know, and then it will cause a lot of riot in the capital. Let's just say it like that. And also, the thing that is quite concerning for President Snow is that because of what she did, there is a rebellion forming in all the districts, or like slowly but surely. And obviously she is back and forth and thinking like, oh, should we just run away and get away into safety before President Snow can catch her and her loved ones? Or should she just rebel? And before she even come to conclusion, 75th Hunger Games, after like the victory, so pretty much they went to this victory tour, and then she noticed that a lot of districts are actually rebelling because there's a significance, like you get a token whenever you get into the Hunger Games, and her token is this Mockingjay pin, like the bird pin. And she keeps seeing it throughout the districts because they are all using her as a symbol of the rebellion, right? So, and then the 75th Hunger Games came. They always make something like really interesting because it is like obviously every 25 years. And this one, though, is like they will reap everyone from, like, they will reap like usual, like a boy and a girl from every district. But instead from the population, they decided that this time it will be from the victors. So since there's only 3 in District 12, is Katniss, Peeta, and Haymitch. Obviously, Katniss will go in no matter what because she's the only girl. And Peeta also is so obsessed, thoroughly gone for Katniss that he's like, I want to make sure that you're alive because you're my whole entire world. If you die, there's no more happiness for me. Which, that scene was so crazy. Like, Peeta, how are you so thoroughly gone? And Katniss was just like, oh my gosh, I feel for Peeta because he suffers so much. And obviously now they're going into this. Even the arena itself, guys, is so insane. She made a deal with Haymitch because in the first book, Haymitch and Peeta made like a promise kind of thing that no matter what, Katniss will have to live. And then now she does the same, but with Peeta. So she promised Haymitch that whatever happens, this time we focus on Peeta, right? Pretty much the ending of the arena, I'm not gonna say too much about it because I think you just have to read it. It was so insane, so crazy, and the things that we figured out, since this is gonna be like spoiler-filled book vlog, I'm just gonna say that the ending of that was insane. And then when we figure out that the head of the game changer, I think, I don't remember his name anymore, Plutarch Heavensby, yeah, that's his name. Apparently he, as a game changers, he has been trying to do a worldwide, like all the district kind of rebellion so that they can overthrow the government, which is President Snow, right? And apparently they're quite close to doing it. So yeah, pretty much everything is a ruse so that everyone signed like kind of like an agreement kind of thing. Not everyone, but like most of them, to keep Katniss alive and Peeta, because if Katniss is not alive, the rebellion, she is the symbol of the rebellion. If she's not alive, there will be no rebellion. And if Peeta is dead, they know that Katniss will not want to be alive. So that is pretty much what happened. There will be a full-scale rebellion happening in Mockingjay. And the ending of this book kind of crazy because she woke up after being sedated because she did not handle the news well that Plutarch Heavensby and Hamish have been working together to like overthrow the government. And then she got sedated. She woke up and Gil was there. And then Gil was like, oh, how are you here? So on and so forth. They had like this mini conversation. And she was like, oh, how about my family? And she's like, oh, they're all alive. I got them out in time. That's what Gil said. And she was like, what? They're not in District 12? He's like, no, there is no District 12 anymore because the government decided to destroy it. So that's catching fire. Honestly, it's quite crazy. It's quite intense. This book is, I think so far, I might have enjoyed this more, slightly more. Although, coming from the romance aspect, I think I do like the Hunger Games more. I'm not sure. But also the fact that Peeta just came to the interview and lied about that they got married and then they were pregnant is so crazy. I am so excited to read Mockingjay. It is not that thick. I feel like all the books are quite short, but I think this one probably it's not slightly longer. Anyway, I am very excited to pick this up very soon. Quite ambitious that I will probably finish Mockingjay and also The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, although that book is quite thick. But I have made a decision that I think this will be like a 24-hour readathon like usual, right? But since I also want to finish Sunrise and the Reaping, I am tempted to extend the vlog one more day. So we're gonna do this like 3 days because I know I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna finish Mockingjay and do a lot of progress in The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. And then Sunrise and the Reaping is what we're gonna be focusing on tomorrow. So yeah, that is pretty much what I have to update you so far. I just want to know whether she chose Gale or Peeta. I think I'm Team Peeta because we spend more time with him and I get to know him, and he is actually quite a decent guy. He's like not quite a decent guy. He is a very decent guy. He's very nice, very thoughtful, very just kind. With Gale, I don't really we didn't really get to know him that much. We just know that he loves Katniss and that's it. Unless that changed in Mockingjay, then I will probably still be Team Peeta. And then we shall see. And then I'm going to try and watch all 3 movies. Maybe we do that on the last day, or maybe we do it in a different vlog, because this vlog is probably going to be long enough with me yapping between all the books. So yeah, anyway. That is all the update that I have so far. I'm gonna read Mockingjay. I'm gonna get ready, get fully presentable for the day. I just woke up and now I'm ready to do another 12 hour of reading. Although yesterday, in the middle of it, I got so tired. I was like, oh, I kind of want a nap right now. But a nap on a weekend can probably last like 4 hours, and I cannot not read for 4 hours. So I decided to not take a nap. But today, if I make more progress, my goal is to finish the Mockingjay and take a little nap. Because last night I slept at like 2, 3 a.m. And considering now that it's 7 a.m., I definitely did not have enough sleep last night. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna talk to you probably later on in the afternoon whenever I finish Mockingjay. This is the end of day 2 and I finally finished Mockingjay. I know my goal was to also finish the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, but I have been quite distracted with this readathon. Did I do over 12 hours of reading? Yes. Did I get distracted with other books? Also yes, because I am a mood reader and I thought the original trilogy is over and I was like, oh, let me take a little break and read something else. And in doing that, I have finished a book and almost finished another book. I think I'm like 120 pages off finishing this book, which I think is what I'm going to try and do tonight. But I'm not here to talk about these 2 books, but I'm just going to say it because it is a readathon. And it's quite chaotic. I feel like. Because instead of continuing with the Hunger Games series like I had planned, obviously this is meant to be like a little bit themed, like the Hunger Games themed. But I ended up being just a complete mood reader, so I decided not to. But the book I finished is The Wind in the Willows. It's not that long, but it is a classic, and it took me quite a while to get through this. I don't know if I love it, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's an interesting read. Would I read it again? Probably not. Would I recommend? Also probably not. But there you go. And then I'm currently in the middle of Anne of Green Gables. This book though, on the other hand, I would definitely recommend to people. Although I'm not done. But there are so many bits of this book that I absolutely love. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the 24-hour readathon. But I'm going to talk to you about Mockingjay before continuing in my plans for the next few days. Mockingjay. What do I think about Mockingjay? It's so insane, the things that are happening in this book. It is so heartbreaking to see all the things that are happening. And I feel like I've talked should I talk completely spoiler free, full? Oh my gosh, my brain is like all jumbled up because all I've been doing is just reading and no little break and no break. After this, all the vlogs are gonna be casual vlogs, guys, because I cannot do like a themed reading vlog back to back, because last week it was the Flesh and Fire series. It was the theme of the vlog, and now the vlog is the Hunger Games. Although I definitely could go through and read the other two books, but I feel like I'm just such in a, I wouldn't say a reading slump, but I'm definitely inching it because I had no freedom in what I want to read. That's why I've rebelled a little bit and read something else. But okay, Mockingjay. How does it even start? So the ending of Catching Fire was that there is no more District 12. Pretty much this book starts with Katniss like 1 month into this sort of like facility, underground facility in District 13. Right? Also, this underground facility reminds me of the Shatter Me series, but either way, it's so crazy because this district might be more brutal than District 12 in a way, because you're always left feeling quite unsatisfied and quite like you have no free will in any way, because you really do not have any free will, because apparently every morning you go into like this machine and you get like your arm with like temporary tattoos in a way to see like what your routine is for the day. They maximize your nutrition, maybe not nutrition, they maximize like the efficiency of things. They're like, okay, this much you go outside, this time you go eat, but you eat what we provide you, not more, not less. So it always leaves you feeling quite unsatisfied. But the thing is, District 13 is what is leading this rebellion, so to say, to overthrow the capital. And we get to know some of the major main characters. Like, I still don't remember his name without reading his name. Plutarch? I don't remember. We learn of President Coin. They have been like doing all like preparation to unite all the districts so that they can overthrow the capital. So this is like pretty much back and forth propaganda from like the capital and also from the rebellion. And then one day she noticed that PETA, which is captured by the capital, is like tortured beyond belief. And she said like, I will not continue as the Mockingjay. Oh, the reason why she's so pivotal in this rebellion is that because she is the symbol of the rebellion, so to say. So yeah, everything has to go through her. So it's always between PETA, which is representing the capital, and her representing the rebellion. But at one point, between like all this propaganda and TV, that's always what messes me up, guys. That the fact that there are cameras everywhere and then they're always filmed and they always like trying to do this it's so wild to think about. It sounded so horrible, but I can definitely imagine it happening in like a very dystopian world if we go that route. But either way, yeah, and then she had this ultimatum pretty much to the rebellion leader, which is President Coin, and like, please, you have to save PETA. PETA was saved, but PETA is somehow like changed because he was experimented, tortured, just like traumatized pretty much. And the first time he saw Katniss, this is like a long awaited reunion, and he tried to choke her to death. That was definitely a shock. And then pretty much he was in rehabilitation for so long. People are like medics, everything, trying to get him back in shape. And then it went down to this like point in the story where they're about to invade the capital, right? And we are in this team, which is the like star team, I guess, so to say, which has like gay, like all the important characters that we know, right? And slowly but surely, all the people are dying except like some of the major people. Okay. Oh my gosh, that broke my heart. Like when Finnick died, when Boggs died. Oh my gosh, guys. But even throughout all this, or like whatever President Snow did to PETA made PETA hate Katniss. But also at the same time, he's trying to like fight against it. So instead of like just like giving in to his nature, which is like killing Katniss, he actually persevered and like protected her by he kept saying like, just kill me. I'm just like such a nuisance, such a like threat to Katniss, like kill me so that she can be like safe, so she can like carry out her task in killing President Snow, which that also killed me, honestly, guys. But the ending, how brutal the ending was, and the fact that like if I were to read this back in the day, I would probably be scarred. That would probably change the trajectory of my life, honestly. And I'm glad I read it like a bit later, but I'm also like, bruh, I'm also like, I really wish that I could have bonded with so many people whenever I was younger about this. But either way, yeah, the one and then the ending also with her killing Snow and Coin. Yeah. And Prim. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so done. I'm so done. And even like in the one chapter that we saw a glimpse of like what happened after, I feel like it's not enough. I want like a proper epilogue. Although we get an epilogue of like roughly what happens. And there's not much they can extend when it comes to the epilogue, but I just want to see more of their romance. The fact that she chose PETA, and I am Team PETA, I am not Team Gale. Because as much as Gale is nice, Gale is sometimes like just rude. He's just like, he's guilt tripping Katniss all the time. And I just don't like how he treats Katniss. So the fact that Katniss chose PETA, I mean, due to some circumstances, obviously he chose PETA, but it's just like, I feel for PETA because PETA is like, I don't care what part of you that I get, I just want you. Duh. This might be one of the most epic love story that I've ever read. And if you know me, I am a sucker for romance. So I'm loving this. But yeah, I can't believe that I finally finished the trilogy. Oh gosh, guys. I just can't believe it. But we do have 2 more books. I'm just gonna take you guys along for, I think, tomorrow because this vlog has to come out the day after in 2 days. So I thought I'm gonna try and read as much as possible, or I just leave this for a different reading vlog because it is not in the original trilogy, but I do want to read the blurb a little bit. Oh my gosh, I just read the blurb. I want to read it, guys. Okay, so the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, we are following Snow, President Snow. We are following the 10th annual Hunger Games. And Sunrise and the Reaping, we're following Haymitch's Hunger Games. Back in District 12, Haymitch Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. Okay, it's late. That's why I'm a little bit unhinged. But okay, before bed, I'm gonna start this book. I feel like I'm so tired in reading a dystopian right now because of how brutal and how crazy it is. Because it feels like it could happen. I mean, not quite to this certain extent, but I feel like with dystopian, it's not my favorite genre because sometimes it gets too real. Like when humanity goes south, I feel like this all could happen, right? Sometimes I don't really like to read about that kind of stuff, but I do want to read this. So, I'm more interested in Haymitch's story than Snow's story. But obviously, I think if you go publication route, I think you go The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes first. But yeah, that's a long, crazy update from me. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for bed and read this book. Oh my gosh. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry for not having a lot of footage in me reading or even me doing anything else because, to be honest with you, this 2 days, all I've been doing was just reading. Reading. I have not done anything else, so there is nothing really to show you except just, I don't know, 12 hours of me reading. Which obviously I'm not gonna put in here. I'm just gonna put like few seconds of it. So yeah, I'm struggling and thinking I feel like I'm not filming enough, but also there is nothing to film. Anyway, enough rambling, enough word vomiting. Good night. I will probably talk to you whenever I am done with this book. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I think so. Okay. Good night. I feel like this looks exactly the same like last night whenever I updated you about Mockingjay. But I have great news. I have finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know. Like, the thing is, okay, before I get into what it's about, I just want to say, no, should I get into what it's about first and then say what I want to, like, what I'm feeling towards it? I guess so. Okay. So this book, we follow President Snow whenever he was in academy. I think he was in a school before he goes into like university. And we are following the 10th Hunger Games. So before the 10th Hunger Games, it is actually quite boring. Nobody really watches it. Nobody really cares. It's more about like just a punishment for the kids from the people that started the war that destroyed District 13. So that was that. Nobody really cares. It's pretty much just they take the kids, punish them, done. And then now on the 10th Hunger Games, the one who created the Hunger Games, I don't remember his name anymore. He's really not that important. But who's important is this guy called Dean. I'm not sure who this. Pretty much the principal of the school. He thought, you know what? This year, the Hunger Games, the tributes, they can have a mentor. And obviously, they assign I mean, not obviously, but they assign the students to become the mentor. It is quite interesting to see everything in the point of view of the mentors, though. But I think the main thing about this book is that Snow is used to be a very, very wealthy family, but because of the war, they gone super broke. They don't have enough money even to like eat. All they've been eating is just boiled cabbage, and also Tigris, which is his cousin, I think, is doing all sorts of things to make ends meet, which is so sad reading about it. But either way, so he still wants to be perceived as like super wealthy because they still live in the Snow's penthouse, although there's pretty much nothing inside it. Like, they're living a really, really rough life. In school, they got recruited to become the mentor of the tributes, and he wants his tribute to win, and he got assigned the worst district of them all. It's District 12, and it's a girl, which her name is Lucy Gray. Lucy pretty quickly as well became like a very important person for Snow. I think here we don't really say that his name is Snow. I think his name is Coriolanus. Is a mouthful. But he pretty much hates losing control. He loves being in control. Like the rose, the sign of rose to him is like the very definition of like elegant, control, wealth, so on and so forth. So he really keeps his like outward appearance. But Lucy Gray is the one person that he truly, truly, truly cares. So he always felt like slightly unhinged and felt slightly not in control, not slightly, like very not in control when it comes to her. So that's why it made him like a little bit mad. Not gonna lie. But pretty much we are following the 10th Hunger Games whenever it like pans out. The actual Hunger Games at this point is very boring. Like nothing's really happening. It's just like torture. But Snow and Dr. Gall, I think his name, or her name? I'm not sure. Dr. Gall. He's the one who experimented on like so many things, like all the mutts, all the like psychological torture that people of the tributes are experiencing in the middle of the arena. It's all thanks to Snow and Dr. Gall's like invention, so to say. Pretty much, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna just lay it all out. Lucy won the Hunger Games. So she survived the Hunger Games, and then she got banished back to District 12. And because he cheated in the Hunger Games, he actually got sent to District 12 as a peacekeeper, or like in the capital. In the capital, the Snow family is very wealthy, very well known, and very like higher ups. And peacekeeper obviously doesn't go along with that, but he chose District 12 so that he can be with Lucy. And the reunion of two of them was great. It all unravels from there. His friend from the capital came to District 12 and started planning a rebellion because he was never from the capital. Filch, I think? Pilch? I have no idea. He was originally from District 2, so he always felt like capital was not his home, so he kept rebelling. And due to some circumstances, he already had to save him once, I think, in the arena, and now he had to save him again. But he rebelled quite hard, and it ended up with him dying. What's his name? Sejanus? Yeah, Sejanus. So Sejanus died, and then obviously because all this, there's like another murder, and he could be a suspect of it. I mean, he is the killer, but he didn't remove all evidence, so he was kind of scared, like, oh my gosh, my life is pretty much already, like, his life already ended from his point of view because he's a peacekeeper. He's not in the capital trying to go into university for like a brighter future, so to say. So he's really like quite reckless with his life, and he decided to like, you know what, Lucy, let's run away. So they tried to run away, and then he pretty quickly realized that his outdoorsy life is not a life that he could pursue because he's really just unfit and he feels quite not adequate enough to do it, I guess. And then in the middle of it gets quite creepy because he has only killed 2 people, but in a way he betrayed Sejanus. That's why Sejanus died. Not directly because of him. No, I mean, like, it is directly because of him, but it's not on his hand, so to say. I don't know how to explain it better, but he, like, blurted out to Lucia, like, okay, I've killed 3 people. Like, I don't want to kill anyone else. And then she was like, oh, it's Bobbin, Mary, something? And who's the 3rd person? And he was like, I'm not gonna tell her that I killed Sejanus because I rat out on him because he was trying to leave because he was siding with the rebel. So he was just like trying to like deflect it. And then it clicked for Lucy, and then Lucy just like ran away. And then after that, he chased her for so long. He went back to District 12 because he couldn't find her, and then he was promoted to become like some kind of academy for the peacekeepers. And then, but apparently someone from the capital, Dr. Gall, I think, was like, you know what, you're too bright for the peacekeepers, I'm keeping you. So he got back to the capital, and then he got enrolled to the university, and even Sejanus's parents adopted him so that he would have money, because Sejanus's parents, they have a crap ton of money. So in the end, it is all well and good for Snow. As much as, okay, now this is just my opinion. I know a lot of people love this book. I feel like I do love it as well because I do enjoy seeing the perspective of us being the mentors instead of us being like the tributes, because we've seen that 3 times in the original trilogy. I do kind of want to how do I even say it? I feel for Snow. I feel for Coriolanus. It's so difficult to say his name. I'm just gonna say Snow. I feel for him. He has to go through a lot, but also the fact that the Hunger Games that we read in the first trilogy, it's all because of his like invention in a way. It's like he suggested the idea, he developed the idea, and so it's quite messed up all in all, but I feel like in here you get to understand his point of view, how he become quite the way he is. I don't know how to explain it, but it is an interesting insight on Snow. It's quite crazy. The ambition that he has to be successful and to not be perceived weak is, he just went overboard with that. But yeah, that is what I have for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I am loving it though, but I am currently I also continued with Sunrise on the Reaping already, but I'm not that far in, and I don't think I can go even further because this vlog has to come up very soon, as in tomorrow morning. I am on page 36. So far, I already know Sunrise on the Reaping will probably be my favorite book out of all the books, because I think it will be really heartbreaking, because in the 36 pages that I read, I almost shed a tear. I don't really cry to books, guys, but this book is about Haymitch and Eleanor. I can read you the blurb. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panem. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. Back in District 12, Haymitch Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. When Haymitch's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes, a young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive oddsmaker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Haymitch understands. He's been set up to fail. But there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. The thing is, I think in the Mockingjay, I think in Mockingjay we got explained like how he won the Hunger Games, but we don't see like truly the extent of it. But from the 3 chapter that I read about his love and his utter like devotion to this girl, and he just like, yeah, he was quite obsessed with this girl, and he has a lot of responsibilities in trying to care for his family. And now he is called, he is reaped. But also, I'm just quite curious in how Haymitch became Haymitch, because all we know from Mockingjay that he's very he was just a drunk because he said all the people that he loves are not there anymore. So I just want to know like what happened to his family. But yeah, that will be for another vlog though, because I'm gonna end it here. Honestly, it was quite a journey. We definitely read a lot in the span of 20 no. So the first trilogy I definitely finished in the first 24 hours, and then I got sidetracked with Anne of Green Gables and The Wind in the Willows. And now, which is the third day, I finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snake and started Sunrise and the Reaping. But I will continue reading this. I'll probably talk about it in my next vlog. And yeah, I'll see what I think about it. Honestly, I really wish that I read the Hunger Games series whenever I was younger, because whenever I was younger, my fixation was the Divergent series because it was so good, and it was like the only dystopian book series that I read at that time. I feel like if I were to read The Hunger Games, if I were to read Shatter Me, I would be a different person right now because I would probably have a different personality, because I can imagine how this could be like life-changing to like a 12-year-old. Anyway, enough rambling. I've been talking for quite a while, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is the 4th readathon of the year. I'm not sure if I can do more of this readathon. I think I'm gonna try and do it until June, like halfway mark. And then I'm gonna ease up a little bit, because I feel like because of these readathons, I get like reading slump quite often, and I do not want to have that. So I'm gonna continue until June, and then I'm gonna have a little break. It's too forced, and I don't want to be forced. It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable. It's not supposed to be like a task. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Good night, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in my next one. Goodbye.